Hey, what's up guys? It's ElasticSpyder here. Today I've got again, a little bit different video. I know you guys do like to see our Supremacy League gameplay, so I'm going to be featuring one of those. If you've seen any of Sneaky's previous videos, you might have seen that or heard that I do tend to play the Kutuzov, but unfortunately Sneaky had to do some stuff, personal business, so I had to take over and of course carry our team. Just kidding, we had a great game, but we did have to change up our strategy a little bit to incorporate me, since this is actually my first game in the Chapayev for a while. In terms of competitive, I did play some scrims, but again, I had to take my Moskva captain, use some gold, and retrain him just in time for these matches. So, do apologize if I do make any kind of mistakes or anything here, but yeah, and you also might have noticed that I kind of spawned in a little bit late. My game just decided to not load the training room. So it's a bit frustrating at times, especially with my newer computer. I don't expect any issues, but of course those things can always happen at any time. So yeah, we're gonna get past that. And again, for whatever reason, I'm not sure why. I know I said in my last video with the community replay featuring Jackie AJK, I was having some issues with the islands loading on the mini-map, so I apologize for that, guys. I don't know what in the world is going on with the replay system. I'll have to try and figure that out somewhat soon. Maybe I'll have to reinstall World of Warships altogether. But anyways, I managed to get into a very good position, all pretty sneakily. Magi takes a pot shot at me from over there at C, and managed to do around 4,000 damage on him. I like this spot. There's not much for people to shoot at me, but I can of course be super useful in the Chapayev. So one thing about the Chapayev that is somewhat a pretty big downside compared to other radar cruisers like Edinburgh and New Orleans is the awful maneuverability. If you're trying to hug islands like this, the turning circle is so abysmal. It's almost battleship-esque, and trying to maneuver anywhere is harder than all hell, if I do say so myself. Amagi sees me again. I'm constantly getting plane spotted, and he hits me pretty hard for another 9k. So I'm down to about 2/3 of my health pretty early on, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I've got to get out of here. I'm not very effective right here, and this Amagi is just going to be pelting me all game, dwindling me down. And it's only a matter of time before he gets a nice, juicy citadel. And of course, the thing about the Chapayev is that since it is a, I guess you could say, later game ship, it is very important that you stay alive for as long as possible. Buddy in the Kutuzov, Vas, he takes a massive hit from the Amagi. And I do have to say, the first match that I did play with APOC, I was playing in my Kutuzov, and I did get smacked pretty good in my Kutuzov by an Amagi at range. So it's a bit unfortunate that he took that salvo. And then to make everything worse, torpedoes are inbound, and he dodged the first set but can't dodge the second. So that's going to be rather unfortunate. Fortunately for me, though, he was able to pop his smoke, and I can use it in the meantime while my buddy on B, Rabadoo, he is sitting on the cap. Shiratsuyu gets spotted from my radar. I wanted to radar just because I saw those torps coming in, so I wanted to identify where the destroyers are. Shiro gets spotted, so I start pelting him. Of course, I'm not going to be sitting in smoke for too long. I'm going to be reversing and trying to change my course, because as you can see, there some shells came in from that Amagi who was blind firing, and that happens way too often in Supremacy League. Players at this level are very competent and are able to shoot into smoke just purely based on where your shells are coming from. So it's always important to be somewhat on the move and to not stand still. And even in smoke, you need to keep angled. You can't just expect that you're not going to get hit because you're in a smoke screen. So, team has pushed through C. Their team has pushed through A. And so far, it's still pretty close. Again, losing our Kutuzov pretty early on was a big loss. That is one more major smoking component that we have lost. And again, this Amagi out here near the enemy spawn around G9 is going to give me trouble. I can't sit broadside to him very long, but then they also have an Amagi that's also pushing through A, and the rest of their battleships pretty much directly ahead of me. So I'm just going to kind of pull up next to this rock and hug this island like it's my waifu, because yeah, sure, okay. In any case, so my buddy in the Benson, he's going to be smoking me, or trying to. He's mainly going to be smoking me and the Alabama behind me, just so we can stay concealed. You can see those planes are spotting us all the time. CVs in Supremacy are, and any competitive scene, I could safely say, it's all about spotting in the CVs. So my radar just came up. I'm moving in position to radar B. Again, area denial is something that radar cruisers excel at, because of course they have radar and they can radar caps and do things like this. So Shearer gets spotted. He's not moving. I'm waiting for my front two guns to go over that island, and they just barely make it over. And even my rear turret somehow makes it over. I get a nice solid hit. Get a fire. The Shiratsuyu repairs. Torpedoes coming in. Radar goes down, but I get another fire and 4 nice hits. Let's see if I can't get another couple more shells go over the island. Another 1,000 hit points, and he's on 54, 8, and then now he's dead. I tell my friend in the CV that he can lock his planes up if he wants. Of course, with a full AA build Chapayev, the AA is pretty good. Again, not as good as, let's say, something like a Kutuzov AA build, but it is still pretty potent when you spec into the right things, and that's kind of what I've done here. So I've got 7.2 kilometer AA range, and with defensive fire up, my DPS on even my long range guns can get to some pretty insane values. I'm gonna start pelting this Amagi just for the fact that I want him to keep running that way. I don't want him to push up, because the farther he pushes into the C area, the worse and worse it gets for my team, because we begin to get boxed in more and more. Smoke is running out from my friendly Benson that smoked me not too long ago, and I can't get any more penetrating salvos on that Amagi, and he's pretty much just out of range. So at this point, we're pretty much all clustered at B, with a few ships scattered throughout the rest of the map. We're kind of all trying to do our own little thing. I get spotted by planes again, and the nice thing about the Chapayev, though, is that it does have quite good concealment. You can see there 10.2 kilometer concealment, and I believe it's 6.4 on the 6.4 on the AA range detectability. So it's always a good idea to turn your AA off. You're actually hitting your P button quite a lot in the Chapayev. Even though this is Supremacy, this still can be applied to something like, let's say, random battles. Certainly, that is something that can be applied and used for any ship too, not just the Chapayev. So, Buddy in the Benson, Rihu, was worried that those torpedoes might hit him, so he had to slow down. They ended, but unfortunately, he's trying to ram into me, but I'm not going to be able to get into the smoke. The smoke just ends, and he apologizes for that that poor smoke. Not for hitting me, for that poor smoke, but that's okay. I'm still in a pretty safe position. Again, mainly for the Alabama, because if a battleship gets focused, or any ship for that matter gets focused, he is in some big trouble. So here's one of my mistakes. I get spotted here, and then I see 5 people looking at me. I'm like, I'm not liking this. I'm going to hit radar. My teammates don't really say anything, but I figure it can't be all that bad, and look at that, tanking like a boss in the Chapayev. I see that Benson that is on low health, 900 health. He's still within radar range. However, it is quite close, and my radar actually goes down. You can see the radar range on the Chapayev is 11.7, so he's still within my radar range, but he's quickly moving out. And let's see if he will actually go undetected here. So he just went undetected right next to that North Carolina, and that North Carolina was 11.5 from me, so maybe the Benson could have gotten killed. But again, a kiting Benson is harder than all hell to hit, no matter what ship you are in. So I mentioned earlier the poor maneuverability in the Chapayev. I was trying to back up into the smoke, but again, I have to be careful because of that Amagi that's now pushing into the BC area. But my friend in the Benson, Rabadou, he ends up smoking me again. Again, also trying to hit Megadude behind me in the Bama. It's important to keep your ships alive for as long as possible, and having a Benson keeping you smoked is something that is very, very key. However, in the downtime that the Benson doesn't have smoke, one of the Bensons doesn't have smoke, you have to be very cautious on your positioning and also your island cover. Here, I realize that I'm in a horrible position. I am fully broadside to this Amagi, so I'm going to hold my fire just a little bit so he doesn't get a very good indicator. And again, you saw there, I was going backwards. He saw that I was going backwards for my last shot, and he shot, and all of those shells hit behind me. So, nice little tactic. If you do need to hit smoke, if you are in smoke and you need to maneuver in smoke, then that is something that you could use. I see that the CV is got a lot of planes nearby, so I popped my defensive fire. It's got some, so you can see there, 2 fighter squadrons near me. Buddy in the CV's going after this North Carolina. Just kidding, he's just spotting. But again, just trying to help my team out as much as possible. However, I'm in a horrible position. The Bama behind me just died. You can see more planes all over the place. I'm in a horrible position. Amagi to my 1 o'clock, an Amagi to my, 7 o'clock, and this is probably one of the worst positions I could have been in this whole game. Not really anything to blame, anyone to blame, but again, it's just everything was kind of falling apart, and maybe I should have moved out a little bit sooner. But there's not much I could have done. If I did move out, I might have been dead. And even though I am still here and I'm pretty much trapped, I'm still a good barrier, because if they do push around this corner, they will have to sacrifice at least one ship, and I could potentially, Citadel, let's say, a cruiser that comes around the corner broadside, or even possibly torpedo a ship that comes around the corner. Of course, I can't. The torpedo angles on the Chapayev aren't all that good, so there's not much room for that. Maki shoots me, does 6k. That one hurt a lot. Knocks out one of my guns as well, but I managed to get a fire on him. Amagi from my behind, but I can tank like a boss. Russian bias confirmed, by the way. Again, planes keeping me spotted. North Carolina, I get spotted by proxy. I'm trying to pull in and pull away and torpedo, but he shoots one salvo and that kills me. Probably should have popped my radar again, see if I can get one of the Bensons spotted, because I knew I was dead there, but I guess a bit of a mistake on my part. But I think that North Cal would have gotten me. Had I moved a little bit sooner and a little bit quicker, then I might have been able to get 1 or 2 torps off on that North Carolina. But hopefully it won't be it won't matter all that much. One of my Amagi players is kiting their Amagi. He's got about 10k more health. Their secondaries are going mad. And I finished with 47,000 points of damage. So not a horrible game in the Chapayev, but certainly something that could have been improved on. Their Amagi shoots, and he takes significant damage. However, Raytheon, shoots back and sets a fire. And he is burning. Probably going to get burned to the ground. Rye in the Benson, he is going to launch torps on the North Carolina. Their Benson smokes up. He has to duel with him, so the only chance he's got is to just charge. Raytheon kills an Amagi, keeping us with the point lead. However, they've got the cap with only 2 minutes and approximately 45 seconds left in the game. This is very, very close. Rye torpedo beats, overturns just a bit. Not much he could have done there. That was a beautiful attempt by Rye to spot that suicide spot that Benson, and almost got that. But unfortunately, the Benson's torps do get him. This one is very, very close. Two torpedoes did land on that North Cal. That means he did repair for sure. And he is currently healing now. Aiden is trying to smoke our Amagi. Shin, 3FM, our carrier, he is completely out of planes, and I think so are they. The other carrier, he might have 1 or 2 straggling fighters around somewhere, but he's basically out of planes. They've both committed to spotting, and again, like I said earlier, spotting is key in Supremacy League. If you can get a early spot on some of the destroyers or some cruisers in the early moments of the game that are not paying attention, you can certainly delete them or at least damage them significantly, such that they have to be very, very careful and play on the defensive. Aiden gets spotted there. He gets railed hard by looked like that Amagi, and unfortunately for him, Kutuzov shells actually do miss, and the planes that were spotting him actually go away. So this is really close. They've currently got the point lead. Their Benson's on C. Our Amagi shoots the North Carolina. More shells coming in, and that's probably a Citadel. Thank you, Raytheon, for saving the day. 963 to 891. They still have 2 caps, so we've got less than a minute remaining. It's coming down to the wire here. Everyone's on very, very low health, except for, I guess, 3FM and Shin, who's at about half health. Aiden needs to be very careful here not to get spotted by the Benson, because one nice salvo from a Amagi can easily delete a Benson, no problem. But the Amagi actually does shoot at Shin. So, and of course, Amagi is notorious for not taking Citadels. Pretty much no matter what the range is from other tier battleships of the same tier. So, minimal damage there. And it looks like we're going to win on points. 15 seconds remaining. Shin shoots at the Benson, serious business. He leaves him on 2,300 health. There's a Benson in smoke behind Shin, but it looks like it's not going to matter. 5, some mild torpedo beats from Raytheon. 3, 2, 1, lift off. What a great game. Alright guys, so unfortunately my plans changed. I was going to do another video, but I forgot to record the screenshots or get the screenshots for that first game. Of course, that was game 1 on the map Neighbors. So I do apologize for that, but I do want to make some quick announcements. You guys probably, again, the screenshots don't matter all that much, since it's not really about how much damage you do, but it's more about how your team play and tactics can help your team, basically. And the screenshots don't do a great job of that. And again, it's training room, so the XP doesn't matter, or the credits, that sort of thing. So I apologize for that, but I do want to say, if you guys are interested in Supremacy League, the finals are actually next week. Next week, Saturday, they will be streamed. I'm sure that you'll see something on the World of Warships portal on NA. So go check that out. Try and make Supremacy League bigger. Like, share it. with friends, family, whatever, anyone interested in World of Warships. We all do appreciate that. And I'd like to also say thanks to members of APOC for playing great, and as well as to PSV. They also played very, very well, and they did give us some troubles throughout the match, and it was very, very close. Bit unfortunate there at the end, but anyways, it was a great game, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're almost at 1,000 subs. I can't wait till we get there, because it's a big milestone, and you guys are going to love what we have in store for that 1,000 subscriber mark. So guys, again, leave your thoughts down below, and all I can say is have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.